वन्य शिक्षकगण, आदरणीय महाजनों, मारा वडीलों, स्नेहीजनों, मित्रों अने मारा वाला विद्यार्थीओ, मने खूब आनंद है कि आजे मने मारा वतन में आववानो मोको मळ्यो छे। वतन एटले एक एवी जग्या ज्यां माणस थैंक यू बोलतो नथी, ज्यां हाथ मिलावतो नथी, पण सीधो भेटी पड़े छे। आजे हूँ ए वतन में आव्यो छुं ज्यां रहीने मारा पूर्वजो समृद्ध थया, जेनी माटी में रमीने मोटो थयो छुं। ए वतननी माटीने वंदन खमतीदर बनासकांठानी धरतीने वंदन, धर्मनो खरो अर्थ समझनार मारा गाम थराद ने वंदन, अने जे मारू मोसाल छे ए अत्तरनी नगरी पालनपुर ने सलाम। मित्रों, अपनी माता, मातृभाषा अने मातृभूमि ए त्रणेयना ऋणमांथी माणस कदाय मुक्त ना थई सके। वतननुं ऋण चूकववा माटे महाजनोए पालनपुर में विद्या मंदिर रचना करी। आजे विद्या मंदिर नाम कोहिनूर जेम बधे ज रोशन थई रह्युं छे। अहीं भणेला अनेक विद्यार्थीओए दुनिया में नामना मेळवीने पालनपुरना नामने उजळुं बनाव्युं छे। विद्या मंदिर ट्रस्टना पायामां मातमर प्रदान करनार दरेक ट्रस्टीगणने प्रणाम अने तमाम दाताओने नमन। विद्या मंदिरे तेना 75 वर्ष पूरा कर्या छे अने गौरवनी बात ए छे कि जैन शिशुशालाने पण 100 वर्ष पूरा थया छे। मारा तरफथी दरेकने खूब खूब अभिनंदन। आजे ज्यारे अहीं हूँ आवतो तो त्यारे 50 वर्ष पहलाना मारा बाळपणना दिवसोने वागोलतो तो। मातृभूमि में पाछा आववानुं बने तो ये फीलिंग्स ज जुदी होय छे। विद्यार्थी मित्रों, आजे हूँ थोड़ी एवी वातो करूँ छूं जेना विषे तमे कोई नथी जाणता। आ मारा बाळपणनी स्टूडंट लाइफनी वात छे। हूँ थरादनो वतनी अने मारू मोसाल पालनपुर। हूँ 6 वर्षनो हतो त्यारे अमे डीसा में रहवा आवेला। मारा कजिन्स आज स्कूल विद्या मंदिर में ज भणेला। मारा फाधरनो डीसा में अने मामानो पालनपुर में वायदानो वेपार। मने बराबर याद छे कि हूँ दर महीने डीसा थी पालनपुर अवारनवार आवतो। पालनपुर में खोड़ा लीमड़ा में अमारू जूनू घर अने पछी वडीलोए गंज बजार पासे संस्कार सोसायटी में नवुं मकान बनावेलुं। ए टाइमे लक्ष्मीपुरा रेलवे फाटक पासेना मैदान में अमे सर्कस जोवा जता। एक थिएटर हतुं सिटी लाइट्स, त्यां अमे बधा कजिन्स पिक्चर जोवा जता। कीर्तिस्तंभ पासे आइसक्रीमनी फैक्टरी में रेग्युलर जता। दिल्ली दरवाजा पासे गोटीवाली सोडानी मजा लेता। मोटी बजार में ભીખાભાઈની લારી ઉપર કચોરી ખાતા, અને પિકનિકમાં બાલારામ પણ જતા અને ત્યાં મંદિરની પાસે પહાડમાંથી નીકળતી નદીના ઝરણાના ધોધ અને એના પાણીમાં નાહતા. મિત્રો, મારા જીવનના યાદગાર દિવસો મેં અહીં ગાળ્યા છે. હું 11 વર્ષનો થયો ત્યાં સુધી ડીસામાં રહ્યો. મારા ઘડતરમાં બનાસકાંઠાનો ખૂબ જ મોટો ફાળો છે. હવે આજે હું તમારી વચ્ચે આવ્યો છું મારી જર્ની વિશે વાત કરવા માટે, કારણ કે હું માનું છું કે ભારત આજે એવા તબક્કે આવીને ઊભું છે જ્યારે યંગ ઇન્ડિયા જ ભારતનું ભવિષ્ય નિર્માણ કરશે. મને આશા છે તમને તમારા લક્ષ્ય નક્કી કરવામાં મારી આ થોડી ઘણી વાતો ઉપયોગી થશે. My young friends, studies demonstrate that the experiences a child has had by the age of 10 and the environment they live in shape their adulthood. I believe that the dry and a tough living condition of Banaskantha shape our social behavior. They unite us through extended family bonds of trust and dependence. This is evident when I see all of you here today. If my childhood experiences in Banaskantha shaped my social behavior, my parents shaped my core values. I witnessed how hard my mother worked to maintain the harmony, spirit, and a mutual respect within our large joint family. Her courage, love, and tenacity held our family together. On the other hand, my father was involved in what the bankers today describe using a sophisticated term. They call it forward trades. In those days, these trades were just oral commitments between the two parties. These commitments never failed and were my initial lessons on the power of trust. As I look back, I have no hesitations in saying that the tough early days I spent here with my parents and being a part of a society that stood by each other shaped my early beliefs. Over time, these beliefs become my values. And today, these values of courage, trust, and commitment, સાહસ, વિશ્વાસ અને પ્રતિબદ્ધતા have driven every action the Adani Group takes as a company. They are the foundation on which our group stands today. My young friends, let me now talk about the years that followed after my leaving Banaskantha. I moved to Ahmedabad and I spent 4 years completing my secondary educations. I was just 16 years old when I chose to give up my education and move to Mumbai. In this context, a question I often get asked is, why did I move to Mumbai and not work with my family? As many youngsters in the audience would agree, the optimism and desire for independence of a teenage boy are hard to contain. All I knew was that I wanted to do something different and do it on my own. 16 years of age, purchasing a train ticket at the Ahmedabad railway stations and boarding the Gujarat mail to Mumbai with nothing much in my pocket had me both excited and nervous. Once in Mumbai, my cousin Prakash Bhai enrolled me at a Mahindra Brothers, where I started to learn to assort the diamonds. I quickly picked up the business, and after working at Mahindra Brothers for about 3 years, I left to start my own brokerage in a diamond trading at a Javeri Bazaar. મને બરાબર યાદ છે મારી પહેલી કમાણી. I still recall the day I did my first trade with a Japanese buyer. I made a commission of rupees 10,000. ખિસ્સામાં ભલે કંઈ ના હોય, મનમાં સાહસ અને આત્મવિશ્વાસ હોવો જોઈએ. અને આત્મવિશ્વાસ શેમાં? પોતાની ક્રિએટિવિટી અને કમિટમેન્ટમાં. હું આમાંથી એ શીખ્યો કે શૂન્યમાંથી સર્જન કેવી રીતે થાય. This was the start of my journey as an entrepreneur. Another questions I often get is if I have any regrets that I did not go to college. Reflecting on my life and the different turns it took, I now do believe that I would have benefited if I had finished college. Let me explain. While my early experiences made me wise, I now realize that a formal education rapidly expands one's knowledge. અનુભવ માણસને સમજણ આપે છે, શિક્ષણ માણસને જ્ઞાન આપે છે. To acquire wisdom, one must experience, but to acquire knowledge, one must study. These are two complementary. And although I will never really know, I do reflect at times that the expansion in my abilities may have been a faster had I gone to college. The fact is, over the years, my respect for education has only grown as I see what the many highly educated professionals have done for the Adani Group. My young friends, first generation entrepreneurs mostly start with a unique advantage. The advantage of having nothing to lose. This belief is their strength. In my own mind, this was liberating. I had no legacy to follow, but I had the opportunity to create a legacy. I had nothing to prove to anybody, but had an opportunity to prove to my own self that I could rise. I had nothing to risk by jumping into uncharted waters. I had no expectations to fulfill except those of my own. These beliefs become a part of me. I believe I am what I am because I never over-evaluate or overthink the choices in front of me. I personally find this aspect the most liberating, and these liberations is what makes me an entrepreneur. Going back to my own journey, just as I was turning 19 and settling down in Mumbai, my life took another interesting turn. I was called back by my elder brother Masuk Bhai to help him run a small-scale PVC film factory which we had acquired at Ahmedabad. We used to procure imported raw materials. It was a tough business. In those days, PVC film manufacturing faced great scarcity of raw materials, given all the import restrictions. I would tell others that trying to run a small-scale business that was handicapped by our regulations was like rowing a boat on sand. એવું કહેવામાં જરાય અતિશયોક્તિ નથી કે રેતીમાં જ વહાણ હંકારવાનું હતું. But it is only those that row on sand that are best prepared to reach the vast oceans. And my first real break came in the year 1985. This happened following the general elections, with Sri Rajiv Gandhi becoming the Prime Minister of the country and liberalizing the import policies. While I had no trading experience, I took advantage of the opportunity to move swiftly to establish our trading organizations. We started importing polymers to supply to the raw materials deprived so many small-scale industries. This move laid the initial foundations of the global trading business I was soon to build. Crises and opportunities often go hand in hand. જિંદગીમાં ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી સતત તમારી આસપાસ જ હોય છે. જરૂર હોય છે માત્ર એને પારખવાની અને સમયસર તક ઝડપી લેવાની. In 1991, India was going through its worst foreign exchange reserve crisis. We were, as a nation, down to less than 10 days of our foreign exchange reserves. It was then that Sri P.V. Narasimha Rao, the Prime Minister, and his Finance Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh Ji, announced a series of bold decisions, including a dramatic depreciation of the rupee to boost the exports. Here again, I made an immediate decision and moved swiftly to establish a full-fledged global trading house dealing in polymers, metals, textiles, and agro products. we became the largest global trading house in the country within just 2 years. I had turned 29 and a full appreciation of the value of two dimensions that would define everything we did: scale and speed. Till now, we had a primarily focus on trading. And it was in 1994 we decided that it was the time to launch our IPO, and hence Adani Exports, which is now called Adani Enterprise, went public. The IPO was a great hit. It came in strongly at a 14 times premium over the face value. Prior to this, I had known very little about public markets, but now had become a fully confident of my learning abilities. I could have taken things easy with this success, but I realized that we are starting to be compared to asset less financial type companies, and this was hurting the confidence of the investors. While trading business is about short-term profit and loss, infrastructure is about capital intensive but a long-term play. Not only are these two different types of businesses, but they also required completely different mindsets. It is then that I realized the real value of company lies in creating assets. This was the phase when we shifted from being just traders to being asset builders. This was to be one of the most critical choices we would ever make. Over the years, I have realized you may not always be able to time things right, but your tenacity can right time things. And our 3 break was the result of a series of a right time opportunities. And the opportunity came in 1995 when the Gujarat government decided to develop its coastline. It was around this time that a global commodities trader, Cargill, approached us with a proposal to source the salt produce across the Kutch coastline. To cut a long, interesting story short, the partnership did not proceed, but we were left with about 40,000 acres of a marshy land to harvest salt and an approval to build a captive jetty at Mundra for the export of salt. Following the formalizations of the port's policies, the Gujarat government chose us as their partner to build out a full-fledged commercial port in Mundra. વૈજ્ઞાનિકોનું કહેવું છે કે ભમરો ઉડવા માટે અક્ષમ છે, પણ ભમરો તે વાતથી અજાણ છે અને તેના માટે જ તે ઉડી શકે છે. અમે પોટ બનાવવા વિશે કંઈ જ જાણતા નહોતા. કદી પોર્ટ બિઝનેસનો એકડો પણ નહોતો ગૂંટ્યો. કદી કોઈએ કન્સ્ટ્રક્શન પણ કર્યું નહોતું. એક ઈંટ પણ કદી ચણી નહોતી. અને અહીં તો વિશાળ પોર્ટ બનાવવાનું હતું. And friend, the rest is a history. મુન્દ્રા બન્યું અમારી કર્મભૂમિ. The next opportunity quickly followed when the Gujarat government announced the SEZ policy in 2005. The marshland around our port that was considered useless now become an asset. And we again grabbed this opportunity. We moved quickly to convert the land originally allocated for salt works into the country's largest multi-product SEZ, supported by a world-class infrastructures including ports, railway, airports, roads, and water networks. મારા બાળપણમાં એકવાર સ્કૂલમાંથી અમને કંડલા પોર્ટ પિકનિકમાં લઈ ગયા હતા. ત્યારે મેં જિંદગીમાં પહેલી વાર કોઈ પોર્ટ જોયું હતું. આ વાતનો અહીં ઉલ્લેખ કરવાનું કારણ એ છે કે મને એમ લાગે છે કે નાનપણમાં સાચી અને સારી વસ્તુઓના મનમાં પડેલા બીજ આગળ જતા યોગ્ય વાતાવરણ મળે તો વિરાટ સંભાવનાનું કારણ બની શકે છે. વિદ્યાર્થી કાળમાં જોવા એટલું જોજો, ફરા એટલું ફરો, વંચા એટલું વાંચો, કરેલું ક્યારે એલે જતું નથી, હંમેશા ઉગી નીકળે છે. Today, I can confidently say that the real growth of Mundra is just starting. It now holds the potential to become one of the world's top integrated industrial park in the years to come. My young friends, tenacity and opportunities are two wheels that cycle together. And it is the tenacity that gives us that confidence to step into unknown waters. And in these waters often exist the largest of opportunities. The more you complete these cycles, the more your confidence and ability to make a bigger bets, and the bigger the bets you successfully execute, the stronger is your confidence and ability to make even bigger bets. It is our adoption of these principles that has led to the outcome of the Adani Group being able to continue its journey of hyper growth, and today we are the world's largest solar power company. We will be the world's largest renewable company by 2030. We are the largest airport operator in India with a 25% of passengers traffic and a 40% of air cargo. We are the largest ports and logistics company in India with a 30% of our national market share. We are largest integrated energy player. We span electricity generation, transmission and distributions, LNG and LPG terminals, city gas and a pipe gas distributions. We are the country's second largest cement manufacturers. We are the highest valued FMCG company following the IPO of Adani Wilmar. We have declared our path forward in our new sectors that include data centers, super apps, industrial clouds, aerospace and defense, metals and petrochemicals. Our market cap is at over $225 billion and has grown faster than any company ever in India. My young friends, India will be the land of a massive opportunity over the next 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. Our democracy, whose time has come, cannot be stopped, and India's time has arrived. This is your new India, and this is your time. Our country is and will increasingly be a land full of incredible opportunities. The Adani Group is just one manifestation of India's entrepreneurship success story. I started this journey when I was just 16. I learned that while the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, it is rare that any entrepreneurship journey is able to follow this straight line. Entrepreneurship is about sometimes getting lost, sometimes falling. But every time I was lost, every time I fell, I was still able to find my way back. I was still able to get up. It is this desire to be back on your feet that defines an entrepreneur, and it defined me. I firmly believe that India holds the potential to build 100 Adani groups, and there could be no better place than India to be an entrepreneur today. What we do in the short term will look like a marathon. What we achieve in the long run will look like a sprint. Therefore, in closing, I would like to leave you with some of my thoughts that I hope you keep in mind. You will be in your prime when India is in its own prime. And India will be in its prime because you will be in your prime. This is the time for you to dream big. You are India's future, and no future is made by incremental thinking. As an entrepreneur, I can only tell you that in the days to come, as you go into the new India, you must never be in a situation where you are disappointed by the things that you did not dare to do. Spread your wings and be like the kites of this Uttarayan. Remember, kite always rise, not with the wind, but against it. Fly, explore, dream, discover. દરેક માણસની તમન્ના ઊંચે જવાની, પ્રગતિ કરવાની હોય છે, પણ જો બીજાના જ પતંગ ઉપર સતત ધ્યાન હોય તો પોતાનો પતંગ બરાબર ના ચગે. ખરો પતંગબાજ તે પોતાની પતંગ ઉપર જ આગ કેન્દ્રિત કરે છે અને ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટીનો પવન કઈ દિશાનો છે તે બરાબર પારખે છે. Be grateful. Humility is the biggest strength an individual can have. Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking of yourself a little less. And a humility comes from reading, studying, and listening. These attributes teach us how little we actually know. Therefore, put your heart and soul into your learning and studies. Learn all you can. You will never regret it. The day you stop learning, you start losing your humility. વિનમ્રતાની કિન્ના બરાબર બાંધ્યા વગર કોઈ પતંગ ના ચગે. The search for success will come at a price. The greatest success is never in not falling, but is in your ability to rise after every fall. This strength will be the signature of your resilience. દરેક પતન પછી આગળ વધવાની ક્ષમતા, આ તાકાત તમારી સ્થિતિસ્થાપકતાની સાબિતી આપે છે. પતંગોને ચગવું, કપાવું એ તો ચાલ્યા જ કરશે. ઇઝ અ પાર્ટ ઓફ ગેમ. મહત્વનું છે દોરી પર તમારો કાબુ. And finally, learn to develop empathy. Empathy binds humility. Empathy gives hope to humanity. Empathy gives purpose to humanity. The great gift of being human is that we have the power of empathy. In this context, the most significant day in my life was the 24th June last year. It was the day I turned 60. The signification was less about turning 60, but more about the decision my family made to contribute rupees 60,000 crores to the Adani Foundation for enhancing healthcare, education, and skill development all across India. Therefore, the best way each of you can make Vidya Mandir proud is to ensure that you align your sense of purpose with your sense of a compassion. My young friends, I hope my journey inspires you to want to be 100 times of what I have been fortunate to be able to achieve. It is not about one Gautam Adani. Our dream must be to produce hundreds of Gautam Adanis from this very land. If I, as the son of this very land, could have learned to fly high, you can fly much higher. સપનાઓના આકાશમાં તમારી સફળતાનો પતંગ ઊંચે ઊંચે ચડે એવી તમને સૌને શુભકામનાઓ. All the best and Jai Hind.